Welcome to the Bowls Hour, brought to you by Summerset Retirement Villages and Dynasty Apparel. I am Erin. I am joined by my co-host Alex Reid. And first up, Alex, we are speaking with...
Yes, so we've got Chris Lander here, the Tournament Director for the upcoming Summerset National Singles and Pairs being held in the Auckland region. How are you feeling about it all, Chris?
Yeah, we're feeling okay, Alex. Thanks very much. Good to have the opportunity to have a chat. The competition is obviously going to be a big one first thing up in the new year, and certainly the number of players that we've got involved is a pleasant surprise. We're just over the 700 mark in terms of individual players, and about 328 men's singles entrants, 205 in the pairs for the men, and in the women's 128 singles and 88 pairs. So, as I said, 700 and a bit in terms of numbers, which means, of course, that we need a lot of greens. And those greens are going to be provided by 20 clubs around the city, or city, the greater Auckland city, if you like. And we're very grateful, obviously, to those clubs for presenting themselves and their venues to us for use through the week or 8 days as it is for the event. Really exciting opportunity. We're hoping that the weather that's been plaguing this country in the last wee while will go away and we'll get some decent summer conditions for the games. And, all will be well, we hope.
Absolutely. Can you tell us where the headquarters are, Chris?
Yeah, certainly can. We'll be playing at Browns Bay Bowling Club as the headquarters. And they've done a great job for us in recent times with the Intercentre and Interclub Sevens hangovers from previous season. Really pleased with the way that venue is not only presented but also delivered by the team there at Browns Bay, greenkeepers and bar people and administrative team and catering and Lord knows what. So they've been very, very supportive, and we have no doubt that they'll do another fine job on their greens and with their facilities for us as a headquarters. It's going to be a really good feather in their cap again.
Absolutely.
I'm sure the players will enjoy it, yeah.
And you spoke about having 20 clubs sort of spread out. Is it an even spread sort of between the North Harbourish side and the Auckland City side?
I think I haven't got the numbers in front of me, but I think certainly there's no imbalance. I mean, it might be 12-8 or 11-9 or something like that, but it's it's certainly not as obviously an Auckland or a North Harbour event. It's very much a shared event across the two centres. Obviously now considered by the rest of the world as one city, but in Bowls parlance, we've got two centres that are hosting the event, and they're both, very willing and able and providing every bit of support they can to make sure that we can deliver a good event for those that are involved, both those that are travelling and those that are local.
Absolutely, and we spoke about some ridiculous number of singles entries, which obviously means that markers are probably something that's going to need to happen. Can you talk to us a bit about the marking situation, please, Chris?
Yeah, I can, Alex. Thanks for alerting us to that. Certainly it is an issue. For markers, what we've done is we've increased the size of the sections for women's and men's singles play so that we've got more people per section than there are available rinks, and that's meant that there's going to be 4 bye rounds in each day. So every player will play 3 games a day, and in the 4th round on each day, they will be asked to mark. We'll be sending them all an email on that personally shortly. I'll have that by later today, I hope, just explaining exactly how that's going to work, because clearly the numbers are such that asking locals to provide markers, especially in that men's space where 160 odd are used or needed every day for those 2 days, the 6th and 7th of January, is going to be problematic, especially at this time of the year. But we're pulling out all the stops to try and make sure we engender the interest of those that support the game and are keen to mark at a club that may not be their own to assist the players that are involved in this event. But we think that we can then lean on the players for the benefit of their own performance, that they can provide their services once in the 4 rounds on each day to provide a marking opportunity or a marking slot to assist their fellow competitors through each day that they're involved.
So if anyone out there is listening and thinks, I could be a marker at the Nationals, what's their next step? Chris, what do they do?
Yeah, so I'm the contact for that, Alex. I think events at bowlsnewzealand.co.nz is our email address for that. or they can call me, and I'll take the punt on putting my phone number out there now, which is 021 109 5965. Please text me or call me if you are interested in marking, and especially if you haven't been approached by your own club to assist with that role. We would love to have you involved, even if it's only for a half a day or one day or whatever it might be. It's a role that is so important to singles, and it would just be fantastic to be receiving calls and messages of support and availability from people. I know that our Facebook page has got a couple of people that have already said they're available, and we will be in touch with them very shortly. And we've had a couple of others come to us and say, yes, we're keen to help. But I think to the players as well, those that are bringing family and friends that know a bit about bowls, let's have some of them involved as well. See if you can sweet talk them into maybe marking your game if you're playing. Just means that we have one less gap to fill. So, absolutely, every stone needs to be overturned, I think, to try and find as many of these markers as we can.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having a chat to us, Chris. Before we let you go, is there anything else you'd like to say in regards to the upcoming Nationals?
No, look, I think just a very Merry Christmas to everybody who's going to be involved, be that as a player or a spectator or a club or a greenkeeper or a person at the club that's going to help us to run the thing. We very much appreciate everybody's support, both in terms of those that are playing and those that are preparing the event for those players.
Yeah. So
we wish you a very safe and happy Christmas.
Thanks for that, Chris. And yeah, we're looking forward certainly to the Summerset Nationals being held next year, which isn't that far away.
No.
At the Auckland North Harbour region, and a good one it will be, Erin. And I suppose on the topic of next year,
next week. Next year is next week.
Yes,
is it? No.
The week after next.
No, it is. It's next week.
Yeah.
It's next Sunday.
So Christmas. Chris, do you have our Christmas hours for anyone who's listening? Do we know what our Christmas hours are?
Bowls New Zealand will obviously be busy between the 2nd and the 9th of January with the Summerset Nationals happening. So if you are trying to get hold of us, probably best to send us an email. Mm-hmm. We're probably not going to have a lot of people available to answer a phone call or anything there. There'll be skeleton staff in the office from the 2nd to the 9th, but we'll all be back on board on the 9th after the Nationals finish. Maybe the 10th then.
The 10th.
Yeah.
The
try
10th.
your luck on the 9th, but pretty much we'll all be back there. Except for me.
Yeah. And
I will not be back.
That's a good segue. So before we move on to our interviewees, it's going to be Charlie Herbert from America. We couldn't leave it without telling people what's happening, Erin.
I am leaving my time. My 5 years at Bowls New Zealand is going to wrap up at the end of the Nationals. So I'll be out and about. Not that many people are going to be able to go, hey, you're the person from the podcast. Because you don't
Only
see
if they
me
hear
when
you
we're
talk.
If you hear me talking, you'll be like, hey, you're the person from the podcast. But it's been wonderful doing the podcast with you, Alex. I've been able to do a number of exciting, unimaginable things that I never get to think about doing. So I never thought I'd be doing a podcast, and I never thought that I'd be putting together a broadcast sports league, and I never thought I would be designing a playing kit that was going to go to the Commonwealth Games and all those bits and pieces. Let's just drop in there that the commentators there did say it was the best uniform out of them all. So, I've done lots and lots and lots of amazing, incredible things. So it is going to forever be in my memory as a job that I've been able to do amazing things and so many incredible different things that I've been able to do, and maybe meet a couple of people, some cool people here and there,
But we will see you back for bowls reasons, Erin. Is that correct? Have I heard that rumour rightly?
I've always said, when I started this job, people asked me if I play bowls, and I was like, well, I don't need to know how to play bowls to do my job. I need to know how to work TV or things like that. So no, I was never going to play a sport that I worked in because it would distract me. Instead of going and doing my job, I'm going to be watching what I should be doing my job in and so forth. So I was never ever going to play a sport that I worked in, and now I don't work in the sport anymore. I am coming back to play in the mixed pairs.
Central Otago.
Ruth, get your cheese rolls ready. That's going to be very exciting. So yes, I'm very excited about the new challenges in life ahead.
Yes.
And the wonderful, wonderful things that are going to be happening there. I will be sad to say goodbye to you guys, but I'm not going to be far.
Yeah, and we're sorry to see you go and wish you all the best, Erin.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
on that note, I suppose, can you tell us who's coming up next on the podcast?
Well, we're going to say goodbye to me. We are now going to be talking with Charlie Herbert from America here on the Bowls Hour. Welcome back to the Bowls Hour, brought to you by Summerset Retirement Villages and Dynasty Apparel. We are now speaking with Charlie, all the way from the United States of America. Welcome, Charlie.
Thank you. Yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, it's good. We were able to work out the time differences. It still does my head in with people living on other sides of the world, how the whole time situation works. But we've got you on the line, so thank you very much.
And not to ruin it for you, Alex, but he's still in yesterday. Right now.
Don't be confusing me.
I'm just hoping the future is bright for us.
It is bright and shiny here today. There's no reason why it wouldn't be for you.
How good.
Wonderful.
Cool. So what I thought we'd start at the beginning. So for those who don't know you, Charlie, we met you, or New Zealand Kiwis met you at the World Singles Champion of Champions event recently held in Nainai. You were one of two playing there, and Inez being the other one, and you went well. It was good to see you, and I thought we'd contact you. So you're a bowler from America. So what I wanted to get from you at the beginning is, what's your first memory, your first recollection of lawn bowls?
That's a great question. I was hanging out with one of my friends who looked at one of the local newspapers and found that there was an open house for one of the lawn bowling greens in the local area. And they said there was free pizza and beer for all that attended. So me and my mates grabbed our best yachting outfits. We didn't know what to wear. And so we showed up with our yachting gear on and had an absolute wonderful time. And at the probably end of the day, we were there way too long, and we exhausted the people that were holding it. But we had a tremendous day. I just asked how much it was. They told me. I wrote a check, and I was good to go. And we just fell in love with it, and then suddenly gained probably 30 or 40 new sets of grandparents. So it was a lot of fun.
Aww.
That's nice. That's a good start. That's cool. So from there, Charlie, did you think when you started that you were going to play competitively, or like how did your career develop from there in lawn bowls?
Well, that's funny you asked that, because I probably for the first 7 months, my friends and I would just go down and we would lawn bowl and take the occasional evening to just hang out at the lawn bowling club. And then about 6 months into it, one of the gentlemen asked us if we were ever going to play in tournaments. And we had no idea that you could play tournaments in this game. We were just having so much fun playing it with ourselves. And so he showed us a list, gave us a email address, and we got online, and that's where it all started. I just thought, wow, this is absolutely amazing. We can do this at a lot of different levels. And so that's where it took off. And so within 2 years, I actually was playing for the U.S. team, and it was absolutely amazing. So
what was that like? Did you get a phone call when you made the team? Like how did that develop? 2 years down the track, you're playing for America.
It was a very interesting story. My passion at the time had been kite surfing. I had traveled all over the world, just kite surfing, whatever country you could imagine that was windy, I was there. And I happened to be down in a little place called Laguna Beach that day, which is in Southern California, just south of Los Angeles by about 60 miles. And I was out in the water, and all of a sudden a gentleman from the shoreline came running out, waving me down, and I came in and landed. And what I did not realize was, although it was about 2 years into my bowling career, he pulled me off the water and said, "We have had a incident where we have lost one of our players in this tournament." Well, the tournament he was speaking of was called the MAP. Many of the internationals are familiar with it. It ran for about 18 years. We had a lot of real big names play in it. And because one of the American players inadvertently had a fire at his house. They pulled me off. He saw that it was me, pulled me off the water in the ocean, and I went up. Yeah, it was incredible. And he pulled me up there and said, "Listen, I need you to lead for me during the rest of the day for pairs." And they asked all the other internationals if it was okay that this novice could come in and play with them. And they didn't have any problem with it. And so that's where it actually began. I played for the U.S. In the MAP tournament in the U.S. It was the only tournament at the time in the U.S. that was a international invitational. So it became very random. I actually had the honor of winning that tournament 2 years later, and it was probably the highlight of my career, the most memorable, I would say. We had people there, Ali Forsythe, Gary Lawson, Ryan Bester, Willie Wood, Darren Burnett. I mean, it was a who's who of players that have been able to play in that tournament. And if you talk to them now, all of them will say that was probably their most memorable and fun tournament that they were able to go to. And we're looking forward to start bringing it back really soon. So anyway, that was a kind of a long answer to your question, but that's how I got my start.
It was a good answer, though. That's great stuff, and good to hear that we've got sort of that event looming in the near future. So I suppose on that note, Charlie, most of our listeners are from Australia and New Zealand, and for us, like with Commonwealth countries, lawn bowls is sort of, it just is. It's around here, we've got hundreds of clubs. I presume it's a little bit different in the US. What's the lawn bowl scene like over there? How are you guys faring?
Well, it's a scene that has been around for a long time. The Pilgrims brought it over to the U.S. back in the 1600s. We have it basically on either coast for the most part, the West Coast and the East Coast, up and down. Our first president, George Washington, actually played it because at Mount Vernon, where he grew up, chopped down the cherry tree, there is a lawn bowling green right there. We have 36 of them in the area that I live in the Los Angeles area. So we have a number of lawn bowling clubs. Many of the Commonwealth individuals that I talk to are surprised to hear that we have so many clubs in the U.S. The problem is that we have been struggling, as many of the other countries have, in getting that younger crowd going. We finally, within the last couple of years, have kind of gotten a foothold, and we're really working to build it. And we're really excited in the next few years, the possibilities that we're going to be able to continue to grow it. In fact, the club that I belong to, my home club, Laguna Beach Lawn Bowling Club, has 430 members. Wow. So we do have a good membership. It's just some of the other clubs in some of the other areas don't have that volume of people. I'm right on the coast, right on the water, and so we have a natural draw to that. But we're super excited about the possibilities. There's some big advertisers and different corporate sponsors that we're reaching out to right now to help build this sport. One of the problems that we have, unlike some of the Commonwealth countries, is that if you were to stand outside a lawn bowling club and have people walk by and ask them about it here in America, they just wouldn't know that it existed. Whereas if you talk to many of the other countries, such as New Zealand, people know what it is. They might not have played it. They might not be currently playing it, but they know somebody who has, and they actually know what it is. So we're trying to get over that hump of we need to be able to reach some big social influencers or some other people that, could be able to hold up a bowl and just say, hey, go out and try this. So we're excited about the future, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and I suppose you just spoke to us about Laguna Beach Lawn Bowling Club being your home club, a few hundred members. Can you talk to us a bit about, what does that club look like? How many greens do you have? What's your clubhouse like, et cetera, et cetera?
We've got two greens there. It was built back in the early 1900s with one green, and then it expanded. It's right on the water, so it's probably top 3 of lawn bowling clubs from a beauty standpoint in the world. It's absolutely gorgeous. And we get a lot of traffic of people just walking by within the park itself. So we're able to attract a lot of people that way. It's just moving them forward, getting them going, and getting them involved in tournament play is one of the things that we continue to work on. But some of the other clubs in the local area have 2, 3, 4 greens to them. They just don't have the people going to the club quite as often as Laguna Beach does.
For sure. And I suppose on the note of greens, New Zealanders, we're quite proud of how fast our greens are. Can you talk to us about what your greens are like? What's the speed that they run at?
Well, we're at a very comfortable 12 to 14 seconds, and I say that with quotes. But what we try and do is just because for most greens in America, you'll find that it's a volunteer organization. We don't have the money to pay greenskeepers like we would like to. We don't have facilities associated with our club that allows us the money to do that. So it's through membership dues and other fundraisers that we're able to get some people in that will take care of our greens. We probably cut them 2 to 3 times a week, depending on what's going on. We don't have the same type of weed or grass that you guys have, so we're limited to the speed that we can get it up to. However, one of the things that we really focus on, and what I've always said, is that I'd rather have a greenskeeper come up to me and tell me that I've got the truest greens anywhere than necessarily the fastest. Because we know if you've got a really quick green and it is not true, it's not a whole lot of fun to play on.
It's a lesson in frustration, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, our greens, for the most part, range between 12 to 14. We do have a couple of carpets throughout the country, and they're a little bit quicker. We do not have any indoor greens here. The closest to us is the West Coast in Vancouver in Canada is our closest indoor green.
So if it rained, you'd be a little...
A bit of travel time.
We have a lot of rain gear, yes. But fortunately for us here in Southern California, we do bowl year round. Back in the Midwest and in some of the other areas that they have bowls greens, they are limited. They generally open up, during what would be our springtime, about March or April, and then they're done by October.
For our listeners, give us just an idea of that Midwest, like a couple of states or a couple of big cities or something that would be in that area.
Yeah, we're right near the Great Lakes. That whole area, Illinois, Wisconsin, is where some of the Midwest. And generally what happened was, back in the 1700s, we had this little thing called the Revolutionary War. And we lost our opportunity to ever play in the Commonwealth Games. That being said, although we found our independence that way, it was our Canadian friends from the north that ended up later in the 1800s that brought bowls back down to the U.S. And it actually became a very, very popular game throughout the Midwest. We have several colleges. We have Bowling Green State University. We have Bowling Green, Kentucky, where the horses run. We've got quite a few landmarks around our country that have the reference of Bowling Green, which is really remarkable. But like I said, most people, the average person here in these states would not know that or recognize that as a lawn bowling green term.
Yeah, bowling's normally 10 pin, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it.
I'm not as good at temping.
Look at what that revolution has to
Stop the Commonwealth Games.
stopped you guys from being able to enter the Commonwealth Games.
Right.
That's it.
So I suppose just before we get on to the bonus question, which Erin has figured out, I can tell. The last, you already told us one of your career highlights, but when you look back over your lawn bowling career, is there anything else that sticks out to you as something that you think, geez, that was a cool thing that happened?
Well, I tell you, there was a gentleman that I knew for a number of years who always told me that you would not understand bowls until you've played it for at least 10 years. And I grew up with sports, doing all sorts of different sports. I worked for 6 different professional sports teams, including the Lakers, the Clippers, hockey. I worked for Disney Sports. And so I thought, there is no way it's going to take me 10 years to really understand this. And sure enough, at my 10th year anniversary, it really dawned on me that I got it then. And at that point was when I was able to wheel off 4 consecutive national championships in singles. And I just finally believed that I understood it. Now, I'm a student at heart. I love to coach people, and so I'm always learning. But I finally realized that, hey, I'm understanding this sport and what it takes, and learning how to read the head and things like that. But it's a fascinating sport. It's unlike any other sport that I've ever played, only because you're not limited to just playing somebody with the exact same skill. You can go out there and have a 10-year-old play an 80-year-old, and you can actually have a game. And you can take it to whatever level you can. I'm just so proud that I was asked the first time to play for America. I never would have thought at 43 years old that I would ever be able to play for my country. And now I've traveled the world in a number of different venues, and so proud of the fact that I can do that.
Bowls is a great sport.
That's lovely.
Great sport.
Brilliant. Okay, bonus question, Erin.
Right, so we've gotten to know you very well, Charlie, because you're a different character for us and you're not normally around the bowling greens here in New Zealand. So what we do with this question, we ask you something that's completely out of the box because we want to know you a little bit differently. We don't have any kite surfing bowlers here. I can tell you that, I'm pretty sure. So I think we've already had a lot of insight to you anyway. I have got 3 questions that I'm going to ask. 3 questions. I'm making up for the fact that I'm not going to be here for a little bit to do some questions, Alex. So I've got 3 questions today. The first question for you, Charlie, when I say the word pie in reference to food, is it sweet or savoury?
It would be apple pie.
Okay, so it's sweet.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Do you guys have mince pies or meat pies?
We only eat meat pies when we travel. Okay. And that's my rule of thumb. When I go over, the first thing ever when I get to New Zealand or Australia, I go directly to the closest place. It could be the gas station or the petrol station, and I will get a meat pie.
Yep.
I respect that.
You. That is, we respect that. You have got lots of bonus points here today. I got caught out. We were in Hawaii. We went up to the North Shore and someone told me I need to go to, I can't remember the name of it, there's a beautiful pie store up there, and I was so excited that I was going to be able to walk in and get like a mince pie. It was all sweet pies and I was like, what? Next question is, do you bite or lick an ice cream?
Oh, boy, that's a good question.
I know.
Oh God. It has to be, the first thing would be, it would definitely be, golly, depending on how hard the ice cream is, I guess bite would be the first, just to start it off. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, good one.
To begin with.
Yep. And the third one, because we're a little bit in Christmas mode here, Die Hard the movie, Christmas movie or not Christmas movie?
Oh, absolutely a Christmas movie.
Thank you. Bruce Willis came out during the week saying it's not a Christmas movie, and we're like, we don't care if you were in it.
Oh my goodness.
It's a Christmas
that's blasphemy.
movie.
I'm going to have to get a hold of him.
Yeah. I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, we'll leave you
to. Not my favorite.
What's your favorite?
I was just going to say my favorite It's a Wonderful Life.
Ah, yeah, good Christmas
I'm
movie.
a traditionalist that way.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
leave you to follow up with Bruce and tell him that it's not, it definitely is a Christmas movie and he is wrong. And thank you very much for taking the time for talking with us today, Charlie. It's been great to get to know you. All the best for next season. Hopefully we can see you back here at World Champs again next year. You just never know.
I am already booked my ticket.
Yeah. And we're looking forward to it
I'm
too.
already coming back, and maybe we see each other sooner at the World Championships. They just named our team.
Oh,
brilliant.
excellent. Well, all the best.
Yes.
Thanks,
Cool.
Charlie.
Well, thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Charlie.
Bye.
Merry
See
Christmas.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Up next is Ann Wright here on the Bowls Hour. Welcome back to the Bowls Hour, brought to you by Summerset Retirement Villages and Dynasty Apparel. We are now speaking with Ann Wright, El Presidente of Bowls New Zealand. Hello, Ann.
Hi, Erin, and thank you. That was a very nice welcome this morning.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
What a positive start. So, Ann, we've got you on because you're nearing the end of your, is it a tenure? Your tenure as the president of Bowls New Zealand. We've had you on the show before, so we'll talk a bit about that. But just to refresh everyone's memory, I'd like to start at the beginning for you again. Can you just remind us, what's your first memory of lawn bowls?
My first memory was of my mum going off to bowls after dropping us at school and then trying to get a ride home at the finish of the bowls, and because we didn't really want to have to walk the 2 or 3 k's back to the farmhouse. So that would be my very early memories of bowls, really.
Yeah.
And my grandparents both played as well, so I can remember them going off to bowls and Granddad cutting the hedge around the green, because in those days they used to all be behind great big hedges and fences. And so that's probably my earliest memories of the bowling fraternity.
Tell your bowling club that has a great hedge. Like, I know that we like to cut down the hedges so that we can see, but Central Otago, Alexandra, has a great hedge. Why is that? Because that hedge makes great Christmas foliage.
Yes.
That is why. You can trim it back, you can make some good wreaths out of it, you can do a table lay, you could even join lots of it together and have like a garland going everywhere.
Thank you,
if
Erin.
I could have a hedge like that, I'd be a happy camper. Sorry to interrupt, but do you know what? It's Christmas this weekend, so people just deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. But you can probably get an awful lot of clubs around New Zealand that have hedges like that around. Like Fendleton here in Christchurch has got a lovely hedge right around. You've got to get in there before you know what's in behind the hedge, really. So
It's like the hidden garden.
Maybe we should
and I don't know if that's a good thing, because we wouldn't really want to encourage people to go in, but yeah.
We should find Edward Scissorhands to come and do some hedge trimming.
Okay, let's get back on topic.
Oh, you're very Christmassy, Erin.
Back on topic. So before we talk more bowls and other sports, what other sports have you been involved in?
Oh, I've been involved in sports all my life. In the Central Otago, I played hockey because that was the only sport for us girls up there. Very involved. Our family was very involved with rugby. And still is very involved in rugby. And then I played, in later years, I played badminton, which I absolutely love, and tennis. And I played a little bit of outdoor netball and indoor cricket. So, yeah, I've been pretty much involved in sport all my life, really.
I remember on a note, the badminton note, my great aunt used to play badminton, and my grandmother used to play tennis, and they had a game, and my grandmother tried to bounce the shuttlecock on the ground first. Right.
Oh, yes, you got to remember what sport you're playing when you go out there with your bat and your ball.
That's a key part, I would say. So bowls, after those other sports, did bowls come up, or was it always sort of bubbling along in the background, Ann?
No, it just really came up. My husband we lived in Otira for a couple of years, which is on the southern Alps side of the west coast, right under the Alps, really. And he started playing bowls there just to give him something to do socially outside of his work. And so he got really into bowls and really enjoyed it. And I thought, when we went to Dunedin, I thought, I'm never going to see him unless I start playing bowls. So pretty much that's probably why I started playing bowls. But I did get hooked straight away. And I got hooked into umpiring more or less within about 3 years from starting. So
they suckered you in.
Oh, that's a good segue. So, as an umpire, Anne, can you talk us through sort of, I suppose, the highlights of your umpiring career and how that progressed?
Well, actually, I've just had the most recent. No, it's not part of my umpiring, so I better not say that. I can tell you that later. No, as an umpire, my highlight has been going to the Commonwealth Games in Delhi, and that was just an absolutely amazing experience. I mean, India was just, you can't describe it really unless you've been there, and then people know what you're talking about. But it was just the getting together with the other international umpires. It was just absolutely amazing. Everybody's on the same page, and you're all trying to do the best for the players, and it was just really, really amazing experience, and that's probably been the highlights of my umpiring. Also, here in Christchurch, we had quite a lot of World Bowls through my career, and I was also involved in those, and they were highlights as well. But the one highlight in Christchurch was when we had the World Bowl, and I think it was about 2016, something like that, and we marched from an area into the town hall and with the teams, and I carried the New Zealand flag, and I was pretty chuffed about that. So
good work.
That would have been cool. What was I going to say? Oh no, it's gone. It was to do with umpiring. Oh, that's right. Have we asked you, Anne, have you ever burnt a bowl as an umpire?
No, never.
Have you ever nearly burnt a bowl?
No, not really. No.
Okay, well I haven't. That can be a work on.
Very diplomatic of you, Mrs. President.
Okay, so on the note of a president, as you said, you're nearing the end of your tenure or your term or whatever. Could you talk to us firstly about sort of what led up to you being made elected as the president of Bowls New Zealand and how that felt, and then maybe we can talk a little bit about what you've done in your time. So, when did you remind us when you were elected, Anne?
I was approached by people to put my name forward when Jan Tucker from Otago. She had been the vice president, and sadly she passed away, and so they didn't have a vice president to step up for the next term. So, and that was due to happen at the next AGM. So I was asked to put my name forward, which Bowls Canterbury put forward, and so I was elected not the past September, the September before, and it was really out of the blue. I mean, I had no idea what to expect. No idea really what it would involve, but I just loved every minute of it. It's just been an amazing experience.
So talk us through what it's like, what's a day in the life of the Bowls New Zealand president when there's a national event going on?
Well, when there's a national event, I usually arrive there. It might not be the day it starts, but generally within the first couple of days. And I basically just sort of go along when everybody starts in the morning, and I just mingle and shake a couple of hands, smile a lot, and talk a lot. I'm very good at talking, and I just mix with people. Probably not too much else really at the start, and then just as it progresses, I sort of mix with the players as much as I can as well, and then it gets to the end and I end up doing the presentations. So it's really just mainly PR, I think.
But there's a lot of effort in that.
Yeah, it is a lot of effort, but
do you secretly hope that when you have competitions playing out and there's always a can tab floating around that they're going to win, or are you very neutral in your role there? Do you have any favourites?
I try to be very, very neutral because, as you know, I'm really a Targo.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
but in saying that, I do, in my heart of hearts, probably favour my own players here from Canterbury, and probably the main highlight was Taylor at the World Bowls, and I mean that was not just Canterbury, it was Bowls New Zealand favourite, and it was just, to me, that was the most amazing experience for me because I was pretty much with Taylor when she started out with her bowls.
Aww.
And I remember umpiring in Dunedin when she played her first nationals and was runner-up to Helen King. And it was just seeing her come through all those years and then putting the medal round her neck, that was quite emotional for me, and probably the highlight of being president, really, that I was able to do that.
That's really special.
I love that.
It's a nice moment.
Yeah.
All right, be under control, Erin.
Wipe the tear away.
That's good.
Taylor's created a lot of moments over the last 12 months, so she's going to have a busy next 12 months to keep it going, isn't she?
Yeah, and we wish her well with the Halberg Sports Awards, so, who knows, hopefully we can get her in there as well.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. So we've seen, you've had that as one of your highlights. Is there anything else over the 2 years that sticks out to you as particularly special, Ann?
I found it really special just visiting clubs, sort of. I haven't visited a lot of clubs, but when I was down, I went down to Gore, as you know, for the I think it was 125 years that I went for there.
That's right.
And I went and visited my sister over at Winton, and it was a terrible wet day when I got there, and it cleared up sort of in the afternoon. I said, we might just pop round to the bowling club. So we went round to, I think it was Winton RSA Club it was called, I think. And it's another club that you don't know what's in behind the hedge or fence or whatever it was. And we pulled up and it looked like a little tin fence by the gate. And I thought, oh, this is a strange looking bowling club. But anyway, I went in and they were playing inter-club and they were just so friendly and made me so welcome. And I stayed and had afternoon tea with them. And there was a gentleman there that I think he was in his 90s, I'm not sure. But he seemed to have a lot to do with the club and selector and all sorts of life member and things. And it was just, really lovely just to sit down and talk with someone different with different aspects of the bowls. And and that's what I've enjoyed, I think, about the whole job is meeting people who they've got history there and they can tell you things that went on. And it was really tough in the early days when these bowling clubs were all setting up. So that's been probably a real enjoyment of the job, I think.
Did they have scones with their afternoon tea? Yep.
No, they didn't have scones, but they had a beautiful spread.
Yeah. Club sandwiches?
Yes. Little club sandwiches.
1 out of 2 is okay. I don't want to know if they had asparagus rolls. I don't care.
Oh, I like asparagus rolls. Bit of cream cheese.
I love asparagus rolls.
No time at the
White
table
bread,
for me.
cream cheese, asparagus roll. Happy days. Right, okay. What's next? I think bonus question. I think we've...
I've got one question. You keep getting confused, Alex, with where we are in the world. Nothing new. With birthdays, with ages. We say that there is a COVID adjustment of 2 years that we're allowed to apply in certain situations because we've lost out 2 years because of COVID.
We did, yep.
Can we apply that to Anne, do you think? Do you think we can get her for another 2 years if we go, well, there was a lot of lockdowns, there was a lot of nothing happening. Let's make the COVID adjustment and let's have her for another 2 years. Do you think you could pitch that?
We could pitch it. I'm not sure how it will go.
All right, well, anyway, we'll leave that on that. We'll go to the bonus questions. And I have got 4 bonus questions today.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. It's okay. I'm making up. I'm filling in some time here. Got a lot of questions to ask. All right. When I say the word pie to you, is it savoury or sweet?
Sweet.
Really? Whoa. Okay, well, that is interesting because we had that question there.
Did you think I'd be savoury?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Anyway, next question. Do you bite or lick an ice cream?
Mostly lick. I think. Yeah, mostly lick.
Okay, yeah.
I had one a couple of days ago. Yeah, I think I lick it.
Yeah, okay. Die Hard, the movie. Have you seen this movie?
I've seen because there's more than one, isn't there?
Yeah, there are. Is
Yeah.
Die Hard is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it happens at Christmas time and it plays at Christmas time, so therefore by default.
I know, but it's not.
I think you have Bruce Willis on your side there because he's just recently said that it's not a Christmas movie. And last question, cutlery when it's put into the dishwasher, is it handle up or handle down?
Handle down.
Okay.
I agree.
All right.
But really, it should be up because you should grab it when you're taking it out. You should be taking it out by the handle. But I do put the handle down. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Because you don't want to touch all of the new dish, like freshly washed end. Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Right.
Well, thank you very much for that, Anne. I liked that. We're quick fire round questions. Thank you for taking the time to join us here on the Bowls Hour today. And with the Nationals literally around the corner in a couple of weeks' time, all the best for your summer of presidenting around the greens.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to catching up with you around the greens, and we look forward to catching up with a lot of New Zealanders around the greens.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Lovely.
Anne.
Thank you, Anne.
Alex.
Yes.
Bonus question time for you.
Yep.
Pie, sweet or savoury?
Savoury is my instinct.
And obviously potato top. You have to agree. I'm not taking any other answer.
I really enjoy a steak and kidney pie.
Okay. Yep. All right. Next question is bite or lick an ice cream?
Has to be lick because I've got sensitive teeth and I don't subscribe to the Sensodyne situation.
Okay. I bite.
Although I'll bite into an ice, the like the Memphis meltdowns and stuff.
Yeah.
You have to bite into them by definition. You peel off all the chocolate.
Yeah, because you bite through the chocolate.
Get rid of the middle.
I will do a little lick. It's summer. You've got your double scoop from the dairy, orange chocolate chip, obviously. And
I agree.
It's too hot, so it starts running a little bit. So you got to do a little lick.
Do the clean.
The tidy up. But I will then bite.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't got time.
Doesn't it hurt?
No.
Okay, maybe you've got better teeth than me.
Maybe. I do have one fake front tooth, so it doesn't feel any temperature.
That probably helps.
So that might help. Okay, Die Hard, Christmas movie, yes or no?
It is a Christmas movie.
It is.
And anyone who says it isn't a Christmas movie has... I don't know what. I don't know how I'm going to threaten them.
No,
I'm just saying that it's a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie. We get upset when it's on public TV and they bleep out the yippee-ki-yay. Because that's the most important part of the movie.
How's that finish, Erin?
Have you got your bleep ready? And will it be playing this Christmas? That will be the next question that we will need to find out. We'll see. You'll have to follow this up in the new year.
Yes.
If it did follow. I'll be listening because I won't be on the podcast.
No.
In the year. And the last one, cutlery. Dishwasher, handle up, handle down.
Instinctively, it's handle down, although logically it would be handle up.
Yeah.
So it's only handle down because that's the way it was in my household when I was growing up. Okay. So that's what I do.
My dishwasher doesn't have a basket to go handle up.
Oh, does it have a tray?
It has a tray.
I see a tray makes much more sense.
It does. And then I can fit more stuff in the bottom because I don't have that annoying basket.
Do they still have the drawers that are also dishwashers?
Yes.
They're cool.
They are around.
I like them.
Yeah. My top of my dishwasher has a tray and the cutlery lies horizontally, and therefore I can get all of it washed and pick it up by the handle and not have to worry about touching the nice new clean end bits when I put it away. It's
Fair
great.
enough.
I think all dishwashers should have a cutlery tray,
Okay, Erin.
not a basket.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And on that note, for the last time, can you please talk us out?
Thank you for joining us here on the Bowls Hour, the show for all things bowls. If you enjoy listening to this podcast, remember to share it around. We can be found on Facebook every week, as well as Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, the Bowls New Zealand website, or wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in next week. Is there going to be one next week? No, tune in next year for more talk about everything bowls. Until then, roll on.